Most annual plans fail in February. You build a flawless spreadsheet in January, and by week 6, the entire system is in pieces. When a creator misses a post, the immediate assumption is laziness or a lack of discipline, but the actual problem is the math. The calendar was built around what is possible in a perfect week, and then expected to survive 12 months of sick days, unexpected client work, and general life friction. Because these plans demand an unbroken streak of ideal conditions just to stay on track, they are structurally incapable of surviving the friction of real life. Look at how a standard calendar grid tracks work. You have 12 months across the top, individual days in each row, and content slots filled in the blanks. Isolate a single calendar slot. It shows the publishing date, but hides the labor required to get there. A Tuesday post might take 4 hours to write, 2 to edit, and 1 to format. A week with 5 scheduled items looks reasonable on paper. In reality, those 5 items represent 35 hours of active production. When a distraction hits or an administrative task takes longer than expected, those missed hours do not disappear. They roll over into the next day, stacking heavily on top of the work already scheduled. By confusing the day a post goes live with the actual time required to make it, the creator is forced into a permanent, draining deficit, constantly fighting just to get back to zero. Fixing this starts with discarding the 52-week calendar entirely. We have to calculate the actual working year. A 52-week year minus holidays and illness leaves an honest 40 weeks of capacity. We establish a measured capacity by tracking an average week, using that as our true speed limit. We then schedule at exactly 80%, reserving 20% as empty space. That empty space acts as a structural shock absorber. It catches the surprise errands and the slow writing days. Intentionally scheduling less output creates the slack necessary to actually keep producing when life gets in the way. With the math corrected, we replace the flat grid with a 3-layered architecture that grounds the work in reality. This pyramid represents the new architecture. The wide base layer is themes, broad territories to ensure your work compounds. The second layer adds capacity, enforcing the 80% rule. The top layer is cadence, dictated entirely by the capacity layer underneath it. Standard calendars work backward, picking an arbitrary cadence and forcing the creator to match it. A resilient system calculates capacity first and lets the cadence emerge naturally from the math. Most creators start their yearly planning by opening a blank calendar and trying to fill the empty boxes with ideas. A sustainable process requires the exact opposite sequence. Choose the broad themes first, brainstorm topics for a robust backlog, and map concepts to natural seasons, like tying tax content to spring. Moving those ideas onto specific dates on a calendar is the very last action taken. It is a purely mechanical step of organizing work that has already been scoped. By removing the calendar from the beginning of the workflow, planning ceases to be a reactive scramble to fill a quota and becomes a methodical, strategic layout of ideas. A plan built on a 40-week timeline with a 20% buffer is highly resilient, but it will still encounter weeks where the system breaks down. The instinct is to panic, double publish, and burn through the remaining slack just to catch up. The correct protocol is to pause, run a monthly review, and revise the timeline. True resilience is accepting the plan exists to serve the work, not the other way around. When it stops serving the work, change the plan. The creator industry frequently confuses the word consistency with a demand for daily frequency. Posting every single day is a volume goal, and it usually ends in burnout. Real consistency is establishing a steady rhythm and maintaining it over a span of years, rather than sprinting for 4 months and then disappearing entirely. Writing down a modest target of 2 posts a week won't give you the same emotional rush in January as a daily publishing goal would. But by October, the creator following the 80% rule will have a massive catalog of quality work, while the daily publisher likely gave up in March. A successful plan prioritizes the finish line over a perfect start. By building a system on realistic capacity and deliberate slack, finishing the year becomes an inevitable outcome